Welcome back to the SOS 20-Week Live Challenge. I'm Dr. Lori Smith, former contracting officer, CEO of Acca Elegant LLC, and founder of SONRC's Empowerment. Every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, we are here. One topic, one teaching moment, and one shift that can change how your business operates. Now, if you're just joining us, here's what you need to know. I spent over 40 years in federal service and managed more than $143 billion in federal contracts on the other side of the table. So I was evaluating businesses, scoring proposals, and watching who wins and why. So what I'm sharing with you isn't theory. It's not something I read in a book. It's what I actually live. And so this challenge takes everything that I've learned over my career and puts it directly in your hand. Does that sound great? So this is week 2 of 20. Last week, we talked about you are not structured for growth. And if you missed it, I want you to really go back and watch the replay, because every week what we're hoping to do is build on the one from before, right? So this week is going to be on last week. And so today we're getting into something that's critical, because what you're about to hear, most people just never get access to. And I want to make sure you have access to this information. So this week's topic is you are not getting funding. So I want to tell you something that funders will never say to your face. When you submitted that application, whether it was a grant, a loan, an investor pitch, or a federal contract opportunity, someone looked at it, and within the first few minutes, they already knew the answer was going to be no. Not because your mission wasn't compelling, not because your need wasn't real, but because what they saw on paper told a story about your business that you weren't even aware you were telling. So I've been on the other side of that table. I know what evaluators are looking for before you even get to the second page. And today, I'm going to show you what you're probably missing. So the funding gap for most small and mid-sized businesses, especially minority and women-owned businesses, is not primarily a discrimination problem, though bias do exist. It's primarily a presentation problem, rooted in a preparation problem. You apply when you're desperate. You apply when the bank account is low. You apply to 5 things at once with the same generic documents. You don't know what the funders actually needs to see, because you never been taught to think like an evaluator. And every time you get rejected, you internalize it. You tell yourself the system is rigged, and maybe sometimes it is. But I've seen too many businesses walk away from fundable opportunities because their paperwork did not reflect their capability. So have you ever been rejected for funding and not been told why? I want you to type yes in the comments, because that silence is costing people millions. Funders are not invested in your dream. They are invested in evidence that their investment will yield results. That sounds cold, but it's actually liberating, because evidence is something you can build. Evidence is something you can present. And evidence is not about how passionate you are. It is about what your documents show. So when I evaluated proposals on $1 billion or even $1 million contracts, we weren't moved by the passion session. It just didn't exist. We were moved by that technical approach. What you said about past performance and the management plan. That's what moved us. We needed to see, can this entity perform at the level they're claiming? Your funders need the same thing. They need to see the evidence behind your claim. So here are 3 things funders actually look for that most applicants ignore. The first thing is your financial narrative, not just financial statements. If your numbers show irregular revenue, funders need you to explain why and what changed. Raw numbers without context are red flags. Your financial documents need a story. And here's why we are here. Here's what we've implemented. And here's where we're heading. That's the story you need to tell. A business that cannot narrate its own financials does not understand its own business. Number 2, demonstrated capacity to manage the funding. This is the one nobody tells you. It's not just whether you need the money, it's whether you can manage it. Can you show financial controls? Can you show that you have someone overseeing your books? Grant funders especially want to see that you won't mismanage their investment. If you have a treasurer, a bookkeeper, a CFO relationship, man, put it in the application. Make capacity visible. And the third thing is alignment with the funder's mission, not just your mission. Read the RFP, the grant guidelines, the investor's thesis, like it's a contract, because guess what it is? Every funder has a specific outcome they are trying to achieve. Your job is to show how your business delivers that outcome. If their goal is workforce development and you run a catering company, show the jobs you create, the training you provide. Don't just say what you do. Translate it into their language. So drop in the comments. Which stage are you at? Never applied, applied and been rejected, or currently trying to figure out how to strengthen your application. Everything I just taught you is what we go deep on inside of the SOS community and at the Convergence event, which, by the way, is coming up in October. We do applications review. We walk through funder alignment. We help you build the documentation that speaks the language of whomever has the capital. And if you're not in the SOS group yet, just drop funding in here in the comments, and I will actually personally make sure that you get connected. So I want you to stop applying with the same documents that keep getting you rejected and expecting different results. Your funding breakthrough is not on the other side of another, application. It's on the other side of a better prepared one. So I'm going to see you next Wednesday, same time, same back channel. And hey, to stay connected with us, please make sure you join the SOS community here on Facebook. Connect with me on LinkedIn. Let me know that you saw me over here in Facebook Live and that you're very excited about the information you're hearing. And hey, if there's something different you want to hear, hey, ask me about it. But I want you to check out the launch schedule because we did post what topic we will talk about each week. So again, this is week 2 of 20. I want you to go back and look at week 1, and then I want you to look at week 2 as well. I also want you to go over to my podcast, GovCon Clarity with Dr. Laurie Smith, and check out the readiness series that we're in the process of wrapping up. Again, the intent is to provide information that's usable, share with you various teachable moments that you can take and do one step at a time. I am mindful that our businesses require us to do a lot, especially when you are a solopreneur. But I want you to be mindful of this one thing. I want you to write down everything that is needed and required. But man, we don't have to build it all in a day. Let's just tackle one brick at a time. That's how our foundation is built. That's how structure is designed. So we're going to tackle it one day at a time right here. And I mentioned the SOS conversions coming up real soon. Between the 8th and 12th of October, go ahead and save those dates. More information will be coming out soon, but we will be coming together again for the SOS, Soil and Earth Season Empowerment Conversions. And it is a wonderful time for a business intervention, right? And so I'm very excited about what is shaping up and what is happening. But again, stay connected. Also go to my YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel. Go out there and listen to the information. And again, you can always ask me a question. I do respond and provide you an appropriate response to every question that you ask. So I look forward to seeing you and connecting with you again real soon. And I will see you next week for week 3.